Which tool is used to perform backup of an Oracle DB? Oracle Recovery Manager, RMAN, a command line tool, is the method preferred by Oracle for efficiently backing up and recovering your Oracle database. The files protected by the backup and recovery facilities built into RMAN include data files, control files, server parameter files, and archived redo log files. How many backups are there in Oracle database? Within the capabilities of Oracle, there's two main backup strategies, RMAN and user-managed. RMAN, or Recovery Manager, is a solution that is fully integrated within the Oracle database that can perform a variety of backup-related activities. What are the three main types of database backup? There are mainly three types of backup: full, differential, and incremental. Let's dive in to know more about the types of backup, the difference between them, and which one would be the best fit for your business. Full backup. A full backup is the most complete type of backup where you clone all the selected data. This includes files, folders, SaaS applications, hard drives, and more. The highlight of a full backup is the minimal time it requires to restore data. However, since as everything is backed up in one go, it takes longer to backup compared to other types of backup. The other common issue with running full backups is that it overloads storage space. That's why most businesses tend to run a full backup and occasionally follow it up with differential or incremental backup. This reduces the burden on the storage space, increasing backup speed. Differential backup. A differential backup straddles the line between a full and an incremental backup. This type of backup involves backing up data that was created or changed since the last full backup. To put it simply, a full backup is done initially, and then subsequent backups are run to include all the changes made to the files and folders. It lets you restore data faster than full backup since it requires only two backup components, an initial full backup and the latest differential backup. Let's see how a differential backup works. Day 1, schedule a full backup. Day 2, schedule a differential backup. It will cover all the changes that took place between day 1 and day 2. Day 3, schedule a differential backup. It will make a copy of all the data that is changed from day 2. This includes the full backup on day 1 plus differential backup, and day 3. Incremental backup. The first backup in an incremental backup is a full backup. The succeeding backups will only store changes that were made to the previous backup. Businesses have more flexibility in spinning these types of backups as often as they want, with only the most recent changes stored. Incremental backup requires space to store only the changes, increments, which allows for lightning-fast backups. What are two database backup strategies? On-site backups. Creating an on-site backup of your database can get you back to work quickly if your server crashes. Storage of older backups. Off-site backup. Data center standards. Data transmission controls. Backup schedule. Automatic cloud backup. Quick and simple restore. What is the difference between full backup and incremental backup? Full backup, the most basic and comprehensive backup method, where all data is sent to another location. Incremental backup backs up all files that have changed since the last backup occurred. Differential backup backs up only copies of all files that have changed since the last full backup. What is the difference between differential backup and incremental backup? The difference in incremental versus differential backup is that, while an incremental backup only includes the data that is changed since the previous backup, a differential backup contains all of the data that is changed since the last full backup. Can we take incremental backup without full backup? Requires a full backup in addition to incremental backups for complete recovery. Recovery requires the piecing together of data from multiple backup sets. Small potential for incomplete data recovery if one or more backup sets have failed. What is the difference between level 0 and full backup in Oracle? A level 0 incremental backup is physically identical to a full backup. The only difference is that the level 0 backup is recorded as an incremental backup in the RMAN repository, so it can be used as the parent for a level 1 backup. A backup of online, read/write data files when the database is open. What is the best backup strategy for Oracle database? The Oracle suggested backup strategy is based on incrementally updated backups. This strategy starts with an image copy of each data file and then rolls forward the image copies each day by applying an incremental level 1 backup. Determine the appropriate backup type to use for your data. Establish a strategy for handling VLDB backups. In Oracle, the DBA can reduce the backup window for VLDBs by allocating multiple channels and fine-tuning backups, can save disk space by using compressed backups, and can block tracking with incremental backup techniques with the latest versions. Establish an appropriate backup schedule and window. It is good practice to select a backup window at a point when the lowest amount of activity affects the database so that the backup does not reduce available database server resources and slow down the database user's activity. The DBA can tune the backup window by parallelizing backups using multiple channels. Decide where to store backups. Both Oracle and MS SQL Server databases can be backed up directly to tape or disk, locally or over the network, and then the backups can be archived to tape. It is good practice to back up to disk, transfer to tape and store tapes offsite for disaster recovery, DR. The backups to disk are faster, DBAs have more control and can better monitor these, and, with this method, DBAs hold 2 sets of backups, one on disk, the other on tape. During restore, if backups are still on disk, it will be a faster restore, reducing mean time to recover, MTTR. Develop a backup retention policy. The backup retention policy relates to both the disk and tape rotation schedule and should be decided upon based on the SLA established with the business user community. The data owner should specify the retention period for the data. The retention period may vary from months to years, depending on local laws. Accordingly, the DBA should be deleting old backups to create space for current backups. Automating backups for Oracle, either set backups through OEM or use an OS scheduling tool, and spool output to a log file that can be reviewed for any errors. In SQL Server, use maintenance plans for scheduling backups. Monitoring backups. Set up monitoring using appropriate tools so that the DBA gets an email or alert through a pager or cell phone for any failed backups, which should be rerun as soon as possible. Backup logs and catalogs. Review backup logs and backup catalog information periodically for any issues. Use RMAN reporting to show backup status. For Oracle, back up the RMAN catalog database by exporting all catalog schemas periodically as well as by doing an export backup of RMAN catalog schema at the end of each backup. For SQL Server, backup system databases, especially master and MSDB. Database catalog maintenance. With Oracle databases, use delete obsolete to remove backups that are outside the organization's retention policy. If obsolete backups are not deleted, the catalog will continue to grow and performance will become an issue. Cross-checking. Cross-check backup will check that the catalog/control file matches the physical backups. Validating backups. Validate and verify backups without doing actual restores. Setting up dependencies. When backing up to disk, archive these backups to tape as soon as backup to disk completes. Databases restore testing. There should be a requirement to test database restores from disk as well as from tape backups. Validating restores. Where possible, the DBA can validate and verify backups without doing actual restores. Validating backups using the restore validate database command will do everything except actually restore the database. This is the best method to determine if the backup is good and usable before being in a situation in which it becomes critical. Refreshing non-production databases from production backups. It is good practice to periodically build non-production databases from production backups using appropriate backup/restore utility commands as a restore practice. Performing annual/biannual restore testing from tape as part of audit. The DBA will have to explain the process through a narrative, preserve logs and take screenshots to show this type of restore testing. Actual restores. During actual restores, the DBA should back up the database before doing the restore. Depending on the type of loss and backups available, the DBA must decide on whether to go for complete, point-in-time, or incomplete recovery. Incomplete recovery can be time-based, cancel-based, or change-based. Strategy to recover from database corruption. For Oracle databases, the DBA can turn on block checking using appropriate parameters to detect the presence of corrupt blocks in the database. This has a slight performance overhead, but will allow early detection of corrupt blocks caused by underlying disk, storage system or input-output I/O system problems. By default, RMAN also checks for corrupt blocks during backup. In later versions of Oracle, RMAN can be used to repair corrupted blocks in the database.